No. Enforcing the laws. My officer made the correct decision.
Impound a car for not having a driver's license?
You should have taken care of your driver's license.
Wearing
it's as simple as that. Just like everybody else that's driving on the road has to have a license, you're not special. So you have to have a valid license in order to drive. You're not above the law. Everyone else has to have a valid license, so do you. And you're in violation of the law. This is why your car is getting impounded. It's not more complicated than that.
So what statute is this? Is it public or private? The not having a license?
You can pull up your citation that you got and it'll tell you.
No, I'm asking you, you're enforcing it.
I'm not, my officer is.
Oh, so you're, okay, so then he's the guy that I'm gonna have to go after. But
now I want to thank the men from Clovis Police Department for helping me make this video. None of the police officers were hurt in the making of this video, except for maybe their pride and definitely their bank account. Now I'm going to show you two things that you can use to catch these people in fraud. One has to do with statutes and one has to do with constitutional provisions. They have to have a constitutional provision granting them the authority to do something. If they don't have it, then they can't do it. And then I'll go over the video. But I want to show you or go over part of the video with you and explain a little bit about it, and then we'll get into it. I was pulled over by Clovis PD a few years ago for tinted windows and no license plate. And the lady officer Mahoney tried to turn it into a DUI, and she did something horrible. I believe she's the one that literally tortured me. My arm was bent behind my back because I was handcuffed, and either her or the phlebotomist kept sticking me with the needle. I have pictures to prove it. There were over 8 needle marks where I was being punctured for telling Mahoney how to do her job. The chief of police, Kirk Fleming, to this day refuses to produce everyone's body camera, the department cameras, or any information of who the phlebotomist is. And well, that's for another video. But a phlebotomist knows they have 2 tries to hit a vein, and then someone else has to do it. More so, they know that they can't draw blood with your arm bent behind your back. And there were about 3 other men that standing there watching the whole thing, officers. Now, I beat the DUI with no attorney, so there's no DUI that exists. Well, I get pulled over again by Clovis PD almost a year later after I beat the DUI, and they impounded my car and charged me with driving on a suspended license for DUI. Wait, how does that make sense? Okay, now let me be clear. The men that pulled me over that time were respectful, never put their hands on me or treated me wrong. But this guy, Soraka, in the video, the bald-headed guy, grabbed me out of my car, shoved me against the car, handcuffed me, and threatened to take me to jail if I didn't sit on the floor. I asked, what did I do? I didn't commit a crime. Why are they doing this to me? They said, we have history with you. I asked them, did I ever hurt any of you? Did I do anything wrong to anyone? No? Oh, I didn't. So why was I shoved against the car and treated like a criminal? He said I was not cooperative. But the last 2 Clovis police officers can testify, and their body camera video show I was very cooperative to the point they treated me with respect, so I treated them with respect. And I have that body camera because I'm winning that case against them too. So I try to talk to the Chief Kirk because he knows I beat the DUI, and he tells his captain or sergeant to tell me he's not going to talk to me. But he has to. He works for me, right? Well, he never does, of course. And I tell the captain to release my car because I never had a DUI. I beat it. And he says, we believe you were drunk. So they intentionally held my car for 30 days and refused to release it, knowing I didn't have a DUI. So how can there be a charge of driving on a suspended license for a DUI? It makes no sense. Plus, they're not the jury. I got the case dismissed. So this is why I tell this sergeant in this video, it seems suspect and intentional what they are doing. It seems like retaliation to me. They don't normally impound your car for not having a license. They issue a ticket and you deal with it in court. It's not a crime. It's a traffic infraction. Well, let's read what the New Hampshire Legislature has to say about the Department of Motor Vehicles, driver's license, and public servants having to answer we the people. Now, let me be clear. it was introduced and dead. That means that the bill didn't pass. Okay, that's fine. It didn't pass. And why they're not doing anything about it when they gave all these facts, I don't know. That's between them and God. But I just want to show you the facts in this. The facts in this is what's amazing. Like it's here for you to use. You can pull these facts up and use them because you can't deny it. They're facts, and they're found by the legislature. So the general court is the legislator, right? And it says statement of purpose. The general court finds that the jurisdiction and authority of the Department of Safety, which is the Department of Motor Vehicles here, but in New Hampshire they call it Department of Safety, is limited to only the commercial users of the public ways. So their only jurisdiction, the only thing they have control over are commercial users of the public ways. And that the corporate state employees have by their silence failed to fully inform the sovereign people of this state that an automobile has been conferred by Chief Justice Grimes in 108 and H 386 to be private property. Now that's a Supreme Court justice, right? He made this ruling, and it's defined by current RSA as household goods and consumer goods, not for commercial use or for profit or gain. Okay, so that's what your private property is, your car. Unless you're on the job and you're using it like an Uber driver or limo driver or, for work. Okay, pay attention to this right here. Further, the courts have found that corporate public servants who ignore their accountability as mandated in Article 8 of the New Hampshire Bill of Rights have by their silence, right? Just like the cops when I asked them the questions and they don't want to answer, and failure to fully inform the sovereign people of the consequences arising from the corporate offer to contract is deemed silent deception and inducement by fraud. Wow. So when you have a public servant not wanting to answer your questions, that's silent deception and inducement by fraud. It says, as well as committing the tort of conversion when taking or seizing the certificate or origin in violation of the Fifth Amendment. I had to look up what conversion was. And conversion is the unauthorized assumption of the right of ownership over the personal property of another. All right, so that's basically them taking your property, kind of like when they towed my car. And let's see what the New Hampshire Bill of Rights, what they're talking about there, what the legislature is talking about. So this is the New Hampshire website for their Bill of Rights, right? Article 8 says all power, not some power, all power, residing originally in and being derived from the people. Okay, that we have the power. It says all the magistrates and officers of government, so that's anybody that works for government, are our substitutes and agents and at all times accountable to them. Right? What does accountable mean? Answerable, explainable. So when I'm asking them to answer me, that's their job, is to answer me, right? So that's literally it. They have to answer whatever we ask them. It says government therefore should be open, accessible, accountable, and responsive. And we're going to see in the video how responsive they are. So this means that all public servants are answerable to us, and when they don't answer you like the two men in the video, they are literally in the act of silent deception and inducement by fraud, because they are knowingly tricking you, because they know what they are doing is wrong and they don't have the lawful authority to do what they are doing. And one might call that treason against the people they serve. Remember, they all swore to support and defend your rights and swore to stay inside of a box of their authority. And the Constitution is that box. So when they act outside that box of authority, they are no longer acting in the capacity as a government employee and now acting as a fellow man, causing you harm. And now they're liable for civil and criminal prosecution. And you could take everything from them and send them to prison. And guess what? Attorneys won't tell you this. So if you try to use an attorney to go after them, they're not going to tell you this. Now, the sergeant screwed up by telling me He's there enforcing the law, and his officer made the correct decision. He continued to say, everyone has to have a license, that I'm not special, but he knows the law. He's a sergeant. He said I was in violation of the law, and that's why my car was being impounded. I asked him, which statute are they using against me, public, private, or public? And we see right here, statutes are public or private. A private statute is one which concerns only certain designated individuals and affects only their private rights. So the private statutes protect our rights. Now, they could have made that a little bit more clear, but they didn't. But they did right here. Pay attention. All other statutes are public, in which are included statutes creating or affecting corporations. So which statute were they using? All right. He doesn't want to tell me which one because he knows it's a public statute, and that's for creating corporations. Now, you see, a government employee works for you and is designed not to cause man harm. And if he does, that agency or department or court, whatever, can be shut down permanently by the legislature. It's really simple. All you have to do is ask, show me the constitutional provision granting your authority to make me have a driver's license. Show me the constitutional provision granting your authority to do whatever. Just fill in the blank. If they can't show you the constitutional provision granting their authority, then they don't have the authority to do it, period. Or when they tell you they are following a law or enforcing a law like the sergeant did, ask what law. If they say code, boom, they're done, because code is a statute, right? Penal code, a division of the statutory law. Penal action, an action found entirely upon a statute. And you see right there, the legislatures are the ones who make the statutes. And they tell you clearly, they only work two ways, private or public. And a private statute protects your rights, and public only concern corporations. So how are you a corporation? As we read, the legislature told you who are corporations, right? Corporate public servants. Are you a public servant? No? Then statutes only protect your rights, and they can't use it against you. Are you a registered corporation doing business? No? Does getting a driver's license make you a corporation? If so, did anyone tell you that? No? Oh, then that's silent deception and inducement by fraud, and that makes them liable to be shut down because they are causing you harm. Do you see why the sergeant passed the blame to the officer? Because he knows he messed up. He said he's enforcing it and backing the officer. But when I reminded him that statutes concerning driver's license are public, he said, I'm not enforcing it. My officer is. He switched up. And if he's wrong, he'll fix it, he said. But he already said he was enforcing it. The sergeant said that. And he refused to answer me, knowing that he's using a statute that only concerns corporations. But he didn't want to admit that on camera. But he knows. Now he and the officer are now in the act of silent deception and inducement by fraud and liable for civil and criminal prosecution and might lose everything they ever worked for. And that's what happens when you commit fraud on the people you serve. Sooner or later, everything comes to light. Now, I forgive them, and I don't hold a grudge at all, but it's not up to me. You guys better start praying and repent. That just simply means change the way you think and turn from your wicked ways, because it's all coming to an end. You can see by the many YouTubes people are making. People are waking up. Yahweh is moving, and they are on the wrong side. So let's continue. The right to travel. Right here, automobile and motorcycle means self-propelled conveyance used for non-commercial travel. upon the public ways. So non-commercial just means you're not for hire, right? It's just in the private, you're going from point A to point B in your private property. Now, motor vehicle means self-propelled conveyance designed and used upon the public ways for profit or gain in business or commerce. So, if you're transporting goods for your work, or, you're an Uber driver or something along those lines, you get it. You get what I'm saying, right? Okay, now let's go down to C or E. Traveler means one who controls the automobile or non-commercial conveyance. I don't like the word traveler. I just say I'm going from point A to point B. But operator or driver means and defines one who controls the movement of conveyance upon the public way for commercial or business purposes. You see why they always call you a driver? That's why they're always saying you're driving, you're a driver. They're trained to do that. They know what they're doing. They're calling you a driver. Now, common law means defines the sole remedy. Okay, so common law, that's the law that we're bound by. Okay, the people. The common law is the Constitution. And let me show you what a statutory action is. Okay, so a remedy provided by statute which does not exist at common law. Okay, now if you start looking these words up on the internet, you'll see that they changed the meaning of these. They're constantly changing them and updating them. But if you go to the older books, law dictionaries, you'll be able to find out what exactly they are. So common law is that which derives its force and authority from the universal consent and immemorial practices of the people. It has never received the sanction of the legislature. So that means that the legislature never did anything with it. Like the legislature don't make the common law. It says by an express act, which is the criterion by which it is distinguished from the statute law. So it tells you right there, it's different from the statute law. And again, common law, distinguished from law created by the enactments of the legislature. So now let's go down to the Department of Safety here. The Department of Safety shall provide at no cost. You get that? That's key. No cost. Every non-commercial automobile owner or owner of any other non-commercial conveyance with an appropriate decal imprinted with the words RSA and tax exempt. The Division of Motor Vehicles shall use their current photo equipment now in use for driver's licenses and identification cards for legislators to issue all non-commercial travelers a photo identification card at no cost, which the words are RSA exempt, printed on such identification card. This identification card is not a contract. So your driver's license is a contract, is what they're telling you. Or instrument or that would require compelled performance. So when you have your driver's license, you have to follow their rules, right? By the holder. Okay, so let's go down here to this one. The automobile and all non-commercial conveyance are exempt from registration and taxation. And the owner of such automobile or non-commercial conveyance are exempt from the requirement of a license that is necessary for commercial use of the public ways. The deed showing ownership of the automobile, also known as the certificate of origin, shall be delivered by the automobile dealer to the purchaser at the time of sale. We'll see what they're doing now when you buy a car. They send it to the DMV. And shall preempt and make unnecessary and duplication of process by corporate government. This mandate shall ensure that the purchaser shall be considered to be exercising, pay attention to this, this is very important, the legislature is telling you, shall be considered to be exercising the common unalienable right to travel on the public right of way in the ordinary and lawful pursuit of liberty, life, the pursuit of happiness. Did you catch that? The legislature is telling you that you will be exercising your unalienable right to travel because you don't need a license or need to register your property because it's private and not for hire. And it's your right. And the cops and the people at court swore an oath to protect that right. Do you see why it was not passed? The Department of Motor Vehicles would lose billions of your dollars. We wouldn't have to register our cars or have driver's licenses, which are contracts to obey their rules. Yes, I believe that people should go a certain speed for safety, and there are some good things in their rules, but they abused it to violate our rights and take our money and put us in courts and jail to make more money off of us. It's all a scam, and that's literally overthrowing our Constitution they swore to protect and warring against the people. That's literally internal insurrection and treason. So pay attention. Things are happening. People are waking up and learning the law and standing up against these treasonous people. And your time is coming to prosecute your own case against them. So don't be afraid. I did a quick Google search of it because I asked the cop if it was a vehicle code as a statute. It says yes. In legal context, the California Vehicle Code is a collection of statutes. All other statutes are public, in which are including statutes creating or affecting corporations.
Sarge, let me ask you a question. What made you come out here?
It's a free country, right? I can do whatever I want in public.
Wow, I guess.
There you go.
I don't know. You're on the taxpayer dollar, so like, shouldn't you be doing something else? Like actually working, doing something?
I'm working.
This is working?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why you came out here for just a simple, like,
I understand you don't understand, and that's okay.
Just seems like you guys have something in for me.
No, enforcing the laws. My officer made the correct decision.
Impound a car for not having a driver's license?
You should have taken care of your driver's
not
license.
wearing
It's as simple
a
as that.
seatbelt?
Just like everybody else that's driving on the road has to have a license, you're not special. So you have to have a valid license in order to drive. You're not above the law. Everyone else has to have a valid license, so do you. And you're in violation of the law. This is why your car is getting impounded. It's not more complicated than that.
So driving
everybody else that goes out of their way to make sure they have a license to follow the laws,
I got it.
They would appreciate us doing our job to make sure you're getting your license.
I get
it's
you on
nothing
that.
more than that, sir.
Yeah. Okay, it just seems like a little suspect that the sergeant comes out here.
Okay.
And he said I have history
time.
with you, or he said I have history with you
I
guys. I don't understand it. Like,
and
I didn't ask for a sergeant, so
I know
just
you
came
didn't.
out.
It's pretty rare. No one else is saying, "Oh, why is the sergeant here?"
Because you don't usually come out. Like, you got something better to do, right? Than not wearing a seatbelt ticket.
He actually responds to calls for service. He likes being with us.
Oh, does he? So he's a good guy.
Yep.
Okay, so the driver's license thing, that's a statute, right?
California vehicle.
So it's a statute though, right?
Sure.
Okay, so I have a question for you. So the California code says that statutes, there's two different statutes. There's public and private, right? So the private statute protects the people's
You're in
rights.
violation of the law. Nothing more than that, sir.
Well, it's private statute protects certain individuals' rights, so it protects people's rights. Public statutes are for and affecting corporations. So what statute is this, public or private? Do you know? You're enforcing it, so do you know what if it's public or private?
We've answered your questions multiple times.
You did not
Made us
answer that
all
question at
repeat
all.
Ourselves multiple times. We're over it.
No, you did not answer that question at all.
We're just going to stand by to make sure the tow truck can get your car out of here safely.
Okay, but you didn't answer that question at all, and your body camera will prove it.
Okay.
So what statute is this? Is it public or private? The not having a license?
You can pull up your citation that you got, and it'll tell you.
No, I'm asking you. You're enforcing it.
I'm not. My officer is.
Oh, so you're okay. So then he's the guy that I'm gonna have to go after. But you're the sergeant. You're on duty right here. You're here, so you should be checking what statute he's using.
I trust
What
him.
if he's incorrect?
I trust him.
You trust him?
If he's incorrect, then he'll correct the citation at a later time.
This is a card for the tow company. In order to get your vehicle, you'll need to make an appointment and go to the Clovis Police Department and do a vehicle hearing there.
Okay. So the sergeant was saying that you're the one responsible for this. So I'm gonna ask
Yeah,
you
I
the
pulled
question.
you over, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you the question.
I'm okay.
So there's the statutes only go two different ways, public and private, right? So a private statute protects certain individual rights. That means it protects the people's rights. A public statute is only for affecting
Have a great day,
corporations.
sir.
Have a nice day.
Well,
sir.
hold on. You got to answer the question.
You don't have to answer the question.
You're enforcing this law about the driver's license. So answer it. Is it a public or private statute? You're enforcing it. So you don't know what you're enforcing?
Have a great day, sir.
I'm going to pray for you.